Greetings, creatures! I'm Rachelle.
I'm Kalie.
And I'm Bree.
And we are
Paranoia Percentage.
We're just three girls who are a little anxious about our world.
And this is our 9th episode, so if you don't know what we do here, where have you been?
We're fascinated by cryptids, conspiracy theories, and everything weird.
Hello, creatures. Contrary to our pre-recorded intro, Bree is not with us this episode, unfortunately. She is,
Well, she's still with us.
she's with the podcast. She's just not here today. She had other things she had to do. And we wish her loads of luck with things that she's doing right now.
Maybe we'll let you guys in on it. Maybe we won't.
Yeah.
But for today, we have 2/3 of the Paranoia Percentage podcast with us, Kalie and Rachelle.
So today we're going to be talking about mermaids.
Mermaids.
Super exciting. We've been alluding to this episode, I think, for a little while, and we just haven't recorded it yet.
Well, mermaids count as a cryptid, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, are they a mythological... We're going to talk about today if they're a mythological creature or if they are just an undiscovered official animal.
Okay.
Like a sea creature.
Right.
Just right off the bat, what do you think? Are they magic?
I don't think that they're magic, no. But I don't believe in magic. I don't believe in magic. I'm sorry.
My heart.
I told you this. I think we recorded this in another episode. The only magic I believe is in a young girl's heart.
Wait, what is that from? I know that.
That song, Do You Believe in Magic?
Are gonna get copyright strikes.
Yeah. Anyway. Okay, so I don't think that they're magical. I think that if mermaids exist, we'll cover that later. If they exist, it's probably some sort of sea creature, because we do know that we have not discovered all of the creatures in the sea. We have not explored even a small portion of all of the wonders of the ocean.
Well, I don't know for a fact, but I heard somewhere that we know less about our own ocean than we know of the nearby planets.
Yeah, that's true.
That's insane to
I know.
me. That is insane to me.
We're not very good at staying in our own backyard.
If planets exist, that is.
Oh god, here we go.
They might not exist.
Simulation theory.
No, well, I mean, yeah. Yes. That would be part of that, but also...
We'll get to that episode eventually.
Also, there's this, a theory that space, like we're an organic Earth, but space doesn't exist.
I've not heard that one.
Yeah, I mean, well,
okay, we'll have to do an episode on that too.
I will say a lot of flat earthers believe this, from what I know.
Right, okay.
But not all flat earthers. Yeah.
Flat earthers, if you're out there watching / listening, at us, please. Tell us all your
everybody
things.
says don't at us. Isn't that like a thing? Don't at us?
No, we want them to talk to us and tell us.
But I thought that was like an insult thing. Like,
is it?
Don't at me.
I thought the at was like to Twitter people. That's how you talk to people on Twitter, right? You at them?
Well, it's not like we're very active on Twitter yet.
I don't know what Twitter is. No idea. Bree runs our Twitter. Bree runs our Instagram. Bree runs our everything.
All the young people sites.
Bree takes care of. Kalie and I are the old ladies of the podcast.
Yeah. We do YouTube and Facebook, which all the grandmas are using right now. So.
Oh my god. Sorry, Grandma. I love you.
Is your grandma on Facebook?
No.
Even she's too young for it?
No. She's 80-something.
Yeah, she's too young for it.
Yeah. Okay, enough tangents.
Mermaids. Okay, so the reason why I'm looking at my phone a lot is because all my notes are on my phone.
Mm-hmm. There's going to be a lot of that from both of us this episode. Yeah. So those of you watching on our YouTube channel, deal with it.
Well, it's not like I have any of this memorized.
No. We're not professionals.
You can't
What do you expect professionalism for?
What do you expect from me? Actually, before this episode, we were able to, secretly have notes because nobody could see us. But now
and then we decided to have a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Yay. I usually have my notes on the laptop screen where I'm recording the audio, but I don't have access to the internet at Kalie's, and we're at Kalie's right now, so...
Yeah, I forgot my Wi-Fi password.
Yeah, she did.
A long time ago, and I still haven't figured it out. And I should call and find out.
Someday.
But you know, yeah, it'll happen.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, so
Mermaids.
Mermaids are, first of all, do you know what mermaids are?
I mean, my first thought is Ariel, the Little Mermaid.
Yeah, and she looked like what?
A human with a fish tail
Yeah.
and a shell bra. 'Cause why not?
Yeah, mermaids just grow shells out of their torsos.
Right, yeah.
To cover themselves.
It sounds painful, but it works.
They are modest, half human, half fish.
Yeah, as you should be.
Yeah, they're very modest. But their bottom half is covered in scales. Their bottom half is fishy.
Fishy. Nice.
Their top half is fleshy.
It's even better. Okay.
Okay. So mermaids are creatures that have actually existed in lore for thousands of years. Back in the Babylonian deity era, there was a depiction of a fish god. So this was actually a what we would consider mermen, not mermaids.
Right.
So they had a strong man with a big beard. There was a picture, and I
Like
don't
King
have
Triton
it.
kind of looking.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah,
And
okay.
he apparently adorned a crown. And
that's
he
straight
was
up King
a
Triton.
fish god.
Cool.
He had, let's see. Oh, that was for Babylonian deity era, and then Greek mythology contains stories of Triton. Triton, yeah.
Right. Well, because the Greeks kind of went around to all the other civilizations and, like, picked and chose what they like from their mythologies and, like, smashed them together.
That's probably exactly what happened.
That's
here.
exactly what they did, yeah. Like, don't get me wrong, Greek mythology is fascinating, but it's stolen from all the other ancient civilizations nearby.
Well, I mean, so are a lot of religions, though.
True.
A lot of religions are like that.
That's very true.
So anyways, Greek mythology contains stories of Triton, who was basically a merman. They considered him a messenger of the sea, and some religions like Hinduism still worship mermaid goddesses today.
Goddesses?
Goddesses.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Hinduism, and then there was one other one that I don't know why I didn't write down, but I know that I read that there was another one that still
Another
today
religion. Okay.
worships mermaid-like goddesses.
That's cool.
In the Shetland Islands,
I know there's some in Africa because I'm going to talk about that later.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's today, right? Basically,
That exists today. Yeah, they do still worship her today. We're not being cryptic. I'm going to talk about it later, I promise.
Shetland Islands. Where are the Shetland Islands?
I think that's in, like, the UK area, like Ireland, Scotland. I don't quote me. I could Google it
Okay, yeah.
because I don't know.
While you look that up, I'll talk about it.
Okay.
There is a mermaid legend in the Shetland Islands, but they're not really half people, half fish. Scotland. Thank you.
You're welcome.
In Scotland. Wait, where was the Loch Ness lake?
Scotland.
Was that in Scotland too?
Yeah.
Wow, Scotland's got some good. They've got all the watery things.
Proud to be Scottish. Terrible accent.
So the mermaid legend, like I said, it isn't really like half fish, half person. It's pretty much beautiful women who live in the sea, but they do have legs, and they wear the skin of a fish over their legs.
Ew.
And they can go on land just fine, but they have to carry this fish skin with them as they're up on land.
Like in their purse?
I don't know where. I don't know where they stash it.
There's only so many places.
But they can go up on land just fine. But they have to carry this fish sticks.
Fish sticks.
They carry the fish sticks with them.
I carry my fish sticks with me.
In case they get hungry.
Right, yeah.
No, they have to carry the fish skin with them.
Okay.
Or else they aren't able to return back to the sea and live.
Oh.
Yeah, it's kind of like magic in a way. Like the fish skin helps them live in the water, They put it on up to their waist, and then they can like just take it off and walk on the land and stash it and then go back to the water.
I'm not trying to keep from laughing. I'm grimacing at the magic.
I don't actually know if it's magic. It doesn't say it's magic.
Okay.
But I can't think of any other way that would make sense other than magic.
Sounds like orc mischief to me.
Are they
Lord of the Rings joke.
Are they orc monsters?
Orc monsters.
They're half fish, half orc.
Yes. Some of the pictures kind of look like that.
Yeah, actually.
Have you guys looked at the pictures?
Oh, I'm going to show some of those to you guys. They are funky.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so some folklore, let's go back to folklore, associates mermaids with death and misfortune because a lot of people would believe that they would lure sailors to kill them. But
This is where we're getting in with the siren theory.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people think either they get the two mixed up or they think that one idea is descended from the other idea. Like the mythologies kind of converged. And sirens were known to be these beautiful women who would like be on these little islands or whatever, and you know, Odysseus or whoever is like sailing by. Right? Yeah, sailing by. And they're singing, and these guys on the ships, they hear the singing and they're like just smitten with these girls. Just I gotta get me some of that.
And there's a hot voice. There's a hot voice.
I mean, whatever floats your boat. But yeah, like that's where the sirens come in, is they would supposedly lure these men to their deaths. Like they jump off their ships to go after these women and then they drown.
Yeah, well, some people think that sirens and mermaids are the exact same thing. They're just,
Well, sirens don't have the fish tails though, right? They have regular human legs.
You're probably right as far as for people to think that they're totally separate things, but some people think that mermaids are sirens, that they just hide their
it's
bottom
all
half under the
relative.
water.
Either one is possible if mermaids exist.
So because of this, a lot of folklore associates mermaids with misfortune. Mermen are associated with summoning storms and sinking ships and drowning sailors.
Okay.
So mermaids just kind of like sing and shake their tops around and lure men in, and mermen sink them with their storm conjuring. In medieval times, which medieval times isn't that long ago.
No, I went to medieval times in Chicago. I did, though. Sorry. Have you ever been to one? No. Do you know what that is?
Yes.
Okay. You just looked at me like I was completely nuts.
I went back and I time traveled. We need to do a time travel episode.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
Okay. So in medieval times in Chicago, mermaids were actually taught in schools to children as not like, unknown creatures, not like magic or anything. They were taught as actual aquatic animals,
Yeah.
like with other aquatic animals.
I think that's great.
They were taught along with fish and whales and, other sea creatures. So they were thought to be matter-of-factly animals. So that gets me wondering, now this is not, written down anywhere or anything that I found, that gets me wondering if they were so sure, could they have maybe captured some? Could they have had caught, like if they knew about fish and whales and other sea creatures?
So there are certain myths about mermaid-like creatures that would come up out of the water and become human and marry a human man and have children. So I don't know if y'all read Philippa Gregory. There is a novelist who has been writing a series of books about the royal family in England. So like Henry VIII, Queen Elizabeth I, all that wonderful stuff. Chronologically, the first of those novels in that series is The Lady of the Rivers. I think I've got that title correct. So it's this woman who basically she ended up being like the great-grandmother of, like, this whole line, right?
Mm-hmm.
Her name was Jaquetta. Yeah, Jaquetta Rivers. But anyway, supposedly she and her family were descended from this sea creature / woman called Melusine or Melusina, and you guys can Google this. This is a real legend that existed. But her family attributed their lineage to her, and what she was like a mermaid-like creature who came up on land and married this guy and had babies with him, and then she decided, well, I think what happened was she told him, like, he could never, like, look at her while she was in the bath.
Okay.
So, like, while she was in water. He wasn't allowed to ever look at her while she was in water.
Did she, like, transform back into a mermaid in the
Well,
water?
he didn't know. That was the whole thing. He didn't know. He knew that she came from the sea. But his curiosity got the best of him one night, and he spied on her while she was in the bath and saw that she had turned back into a mermaid, and he saw this, and then she caught him looking, and so she freaked out, and she left, and she went back to the sea, and she left him. Never saw him again. And that's where the legend comes in, is that she would kind of, from the sea, like, look after her children, her grandchildren, her great-grandchildren, and, like, she would sing this song to, like, let them know when someone in the family was going to die. Like, to warn them. And then it comes in with a whole bunch of water magic and all this stuff. Great series. I highly recommend reading it. But there's a lot of actual mythology in it. Like,
That sounds really... What is it called again?
it's Philippa Gregory is the author. That particular book is called Lady of the Rivers, I think.
Okay.
I think I've got that title right.
Okay.
But it's her Tudor series. So I highly recommend it. I have the first book if you want to borrow it. You can have it. I'm done reading it, so...
I actually might take you up on that.
Yeah,
That sounds
it's
really
really,
cool.
really good. Long series. It's going to go on through, like, I mean, the Kings and Queens of England, like, all the way through. But, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Neat.
Yeah.
Good book recommendation.
I didn't even plan to talk about that. But it fit perfectly.
Yeah, I did. Did you want to talk about the Mami Wada?
I would love to talk about Mami Wada. So, Mami Wada, I'm going to get my... my handy, trusty Wikipedia here.
It is the Wada that mummies
Well,
feed their babies.
Actually, another version of Mami Wada is Mammy
Wada.
Water. You can see the spelling.
Mammy water.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
water spirit in Africa, and still to this day worshipped in Africa. Actually, there's a bunch of pictures that I found online of, like, current day priestesses who worship Mami Wada, which is pretty cool. But yeah, she's kind of said to be mermaid-like, mermaid-esque, like a goddess of mermaids. It's basically the same thing, except that it's like a water goddess version. She is revered and prayed to for fertility. So, like, women in Africa who, you know, were having a hard time getting pregnant would pray to Mami Wada that they could become pregnant. And it's actually kind of sad because she can't bear children herself, but she can give the ability to human women, which is kind of beautiful, but at the same time,
sad.
yeah, it's very sad. But the thing that I found to be pretty cool about Mami Wada, which you can do all sorts of good research, there's some great podcast episodes of other podcasts. If you don't listen to Spirits podcast, you should, because it's actually really awesome, and it deals with a lot of the same stuff.
Ours is the best one. What are you talking about, Rochelle?
Sorry.
Ours is the #1 podcast.
But the thing that I found that was really cool about Mami Wada is that she's known to, like, collect trinkets and baubles, like wrist watches and silver spoons and things like that, which is very Ariel. Mermaids. I think
stuff,
that
isn't it
yeah,
neat?
I think maybe that's where the Disney creators got that idea, is they were there looking at the legend of
yeah.
Mami Wada, and
Like, wouldn't it be cool if she was a hoarder, too?
she was totally a hoarder.
She was.
She is totally a hoarder. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, back to Mami Wada. She's often described as a mermaid-like figure, a woman's upper body, and the lower half of either a fish or a snake. So that's a nice twist.
Oh, okay.
I don't know that I
Wait,
like that idea. But
As a snake, can she still go through water?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
snakes swim.
Oh, wait, yeah. Wait, do all snakes swim?
I think so.
No.
I don't know. I think so.
I don't know. Okay, so she can swim as a snake.
She can swim as a snake.
Cool.
But she can, in most of the beliefs, she can, like, turn herself into human enough to, like, pass and, like, walk next to you on the street. What?
She passes.
Passes as a human. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just like it's an LGBT thing
Oh, okay.
to pass.
Sorry,
which is
I'm
funny.
old. I don't know any of this terminology.
It's fine.
So there are tales of river travelers, usually men, chancing upon Mamiwata.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like combing her hair, looking at herself in the mirror, gussying up. Oh, I just did a Brie. Sorry. Brie is here in spirit. So when she notices...
Again, she's still with us.
Right. Yeah, she's still a part of the podcast. We
It's
have
just
not kicked her out. She has not left.
The way you keep phrasing it is like that she's gone.
Well,
gone.
she's not here physically right now in this room.
She's with us in spirit. I can feel her presence.
Oh, jeez. Okay, so she's gussying up. This guy happens upon her. She sees him, flips out, and dives into the water and leaves her, like, brush and her mirror and stuff just, like, hanging out on the rock where she was sitting. And so he takes her stuff because he's rude and takes it home. And then she comes back in the middle of the night in his dreams to, like, be like, hey, give me my stuff back, dude. That's not cool. You can't take my stuff. Like, that's mine. And if he agrees, she demands that he be faithful to her in a man-woman sort of way.
Okay, wait. He
Yeah,
stole
it gets-
her stuff. And then for ransom, basically, he says, you have to, like,
No. She says.
be with me.
She tells him, you stole my stuff, give me my stuff back, and now you're mine, slave.
Oh, okay.
In the special sense.
I don't know why that's suddenly okay with me, though. But
Because
that's
it's her doing it.
That's still not cool,
It's
though.
not cool.
No.
It's not cool.
No.
But if he agrees, then he gets riches and good luck and all sorts of awesome stuff. But if he refuses to either return her stuff to her or to be faithful to her, then he has, like, bad luck and all sorts of bad things happen to him.
Okay.
Which, you take a lady's stuff, bad things are going to happen to you.
Yeah,
Don't
fair.
take people's stuff.
Yeah, don't take people's stuff.
Yeah. So,
Even a non-lady's stuff.
non-lady?
Yeah. Anyone who's not a lady.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so that's pretty much what I had on Mamiwata.
Mamiwata.
Yeah. I think it's kind of neat that she's turning sexism on its head to, like, bring it the other way. Like, it's still sexism and it's still bad and don't do it,
super
but
not cool. Yeah.
it's just a different, like, opposite take on it. Because usually you hear,
I just want to.
it's still not good, don't do that, but...
I want to start a business, and it'll be bottled water with glitter in it, edible glitter,
I
and
don't want to drink glitter. Do you know how hard that stuff is to get out of your clothes, much less your intestines?
it'll be in your poop. It'll be fine.
I don't want glitter
And
poop.
okay, but lots of people would. And
Lots of people want glitter poop?
call it Mamiwata.
I'm pretty sure you just offended any of our listeners in Africa. They still worship her in Africa today.
Would you not want to drink water that has the name of one of your gods?
I don't want to drink water with glitter in it, no.
Would you drink Jesus water?
No?
Why not?
That just feels sacrilegious to me. I don't know what reaction you're trying to get here, Kalie.
Okay. It's fine. It's fine. I'm trying to see if that would be offensive to you if they were selling something called Jesus water.
Offensive is not the right word.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me feel icky.
Okay. Non-icky mama water. Mama wata. Mommy wata?
Mommy Wada.
Mommy wata. Not Mama Water.
Not Mama Water. Mommy Wada.
Mommy Wada. Non-icky Mommy
God.
Wada. The non-ickiest.
I'm so sorry, Africa. I'm so sorry.
Okay. Okay. Mermaids.
Mermaids. Good Lord.
Okay, so. In the 1800s, the public became really, really interested in mermaids. So, in the early 1800s, there began to be a lot of hoaxes about mermaids, unfortunately.
That's roughly when the Little Mermaid Disney film takes place, isn't it?
I have no idea.
I mean, it feels like about that time period. I don't...
Maybe.
I'd need to watch that again and look at their dresses. That'll tell me. You can tell a lot of that stuff by the fashion.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Although fashion is like a cycle.
That's true, too.
It comes back
That's
and comes
true.
back. Yeah, so the early 1800s up until about, the mid 1800s, there were a lot of hoaxes, unfortunately, having to do with mermaids. One of which that
P.T.
became...
Barnum, sorry.
Yeah. Exactly, that's where I'm getting to. One of the most notable ones is a display by P.T. Barnum. Mm-hmm. He had a lot of showpieces that he would take around, and one of them was something called the Fiji Mermaid.
Yep.
Feejee. So not like Fiji water, Fiji the place. The Fiji Mermaid was one of his displays that was supposedly a corpse of a mermaid that he had acquired and didn't say where. And it really fooled a lot of people. Then he would have people pay like 50 cents to go in and see it, and it was one of the really, really big attractions. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, a lot of people believed that it was legitimate and believed that mermaids were real, and he acquired this mermaid. But to kind of our standards today, it's really easy to see that it's probably manufactured. It looks like, and it is a real artifact that they have saved to this day. It looks
you can see pictures of it.
Yeah, it's online. Look up Fiji Mermaid or P.T. Barnum's Mermaid, and it looks... They believe that it is the top half of a monkey, some kind of monkey, and then the bottom half of a fish that he just kind of...
sewed together.
Yeah, in a really grotesque way. So it's kind of gross, and if you do look it up...
gross.
Yeah. But what's really interesting is that, weirdly enough, if you look up the Fiji Mermaid... and then there's also another one in Canada that I can't remember the name of, and a couple other ones. They are kind of all over the place, and they all basically look the same.
There's a lot of these things. Yeah, I actually saw one when I was a kid.
Really? Like in person?
Yeah. When I was a kid, we went to me and my mom and dad and my cousin and my aunt and uncle and a couple of their friends stayed in a condo in St. Petersburg, Florida. And on the way there, so this was somewhere in Florida, but it wasn't St. Petersburg. So on the way to St. Petersburg, we stopped in this tiny little town, and they had this little crazy museum, and there was all sorts of weird stuff in this museum, like I honestly can't remember anything else that was in the museum except this thing. There was this maybe this big.
Wow, that's little.
Yeah, it was. I guess it was a baby mermaid. I don't know, but it looked like a monkey skeleton with this fish skeleton tail thing. Like it was really messed up looking. And my dad, I was 6. My dad convinced me that this stupid thing was real, that mermaids were real. Because The Little Mermaid was like my favorite movie at the time anyway. And he convinced me that this was an actual mermaid, but I couldn't understand it because it looked like a monkey. Like, there's nothing human about this. It looks like a...
Right.
Yeah. It was pretty disgusting, and I still have nightmares about it. Thanks,
Yeah.
Dad.
When you look these things up, and
I bet he doesn't even remember that.
They look all basically the same. It's like it's like a bunch of people, probably around the same time period,
Got together and
saw
decided,
this-
aha.
Right. Well, most likely. I'm just assuming here that P.T. Barnum was the first one. People saw it because it was a very popular attraction.
Yeah.
And other people wanted to get in on this.
Yeah.
And created basically the same thing that he created.
Well, there were a lot of guys doing the same thing at the same time as P.T. Barnum. I just finished reading a book on P.T. Barnum, actually. I finished it like 2 weeks ago. It was very good. There was a whole lot of these carnival hawkers. Hawkers. That were showing exhibits and this sort of thing, like all over, primarily London and the United States.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know there was a bunch of them.
Oh, yeah.
But that's probably why they're so
I mean,
popular.
it makes sense because we know P.T. Barnum, and Bailey. They were originally not together. Like, they originally had their own exhibits and were, like, traveling by themselves of their own volition, and then decided to team up and create the circus.
I didn't know that. Mm-hmm. Cool.
I didn't either until I read this book.
Another book recommendation.
It's called The Wonders, I think. John Wolfe. It's about the freak shows. That was what the book was about, like, specifically. So, but it did talk about the Fiji mermaid.
Yeah, freak shows were super popular for a long time.
Crazy popular. Yeah. Queen, was it Victoria? I think it was Queen Victoria. That was super into the freak shows, and she's kind of the reason that they became as popular as they did, because her and Prince Albert, her husband, or well, Queen consort. I don't know what the correct terminology is. I'm not English. I am, but I'm not. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, they kind of started that whole trend because they were both so really into freak shows and stuff. Like, they had General Tom Thumb to the palace like 5 times. Have you heard of him?
Tom Thumb.
General Tom Thumb.
No.
He was like one of the first. I mean, he was a little person, but they didn't use that term then. They called them dwarves or midgets at that time, which is not okay. But anyway, that's what it was then. But he was like the first. He was the second really famous dwarf, but like he got kind of started with the freak shows, and he was like a good friend to the queen. Like, he hung out with her. You should read the book. I'm not explaining
That's
this well.
awesome.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm all over the place today.
Okay, so what is that book called again?
I think it was called The Wonders.
The Wonders.
I know that the author's name is John Wolfe, so you can look it up that way. John Wolfe Freak Shows.
Cool, thank you. Okay.
She's gonna punch me later for messing up this episode.
No, I'm not. I'm totally... Look, this is going to be a shortish episode, so I'm not... No, it's not
we're
a
at
big
35 minutes right now.
deal. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's no big deal. I like... The book recommendations are fine.
Okay.
They're great.
I see life through book recommendations. That's kind of like who I am as a person.
Which is fine. I'm very tired.
I know. I'm sorry. Me too.
So, 2009. So,
Okay.
pretty recent. Fairly recent.
Ish.
It was recent.
10 years. 10 years. Over 10 years ago now.
Gosh, 11 years ago.
Yep. Makes you feel good,
2009
doesn't it?
was 11 years ago. Okay, so in 2009, there was a report that a mermaid was sighted off the coast of Israel.
Nice.
And more than one person saw this. Actually, several people on the beach saw this.
Wait a minute. Wasn't this where the robot shark sightings were? That we talked about in one of the nuggets?
I think so.
I think so too.
I think, if I remember correctly.
I think so.
Okay, that doesn't say anything, but it says something.
Says something.
Okay. So, all right, off the coast of Israel, a mermaid was reported, a sighting was reported in 2009, and there were actually a lot of people who saw this, and a lot of people claimed, not a lot, I actually don't know the numbers of how many people, I just know that they got multiple reports of this, and they said that the mermaid performed tricks right before the sunset. So it went out into the water directly before sunset, did some tricks, and then disappeared as soon as it got dark.
That sounds like dolphin mischief to me.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
But one of the witnesses said I'm going to literally quote this word for word. All right. One of the witnesses said, I was with friends when suddenly we saw a woman laying on the sand in a weird way. At first, I thought she was just another sunbather. But when we approached, she jumped into the water and disappeared. We were all in shock because we saw that she had a tail. So this witness saw a woman laying in the sand. Apparently she was laying weird. And he was
How does one lay weird?
I don't know. He says she was laying in a weird way. And then they were like, oh, it's a sunbather laying in a weird way. But then she somehow jumped up and got into the water, but had a tail.
How do you jump with the tail? That's
know.
what I don't get.
I don't know. She just kind of like
Fish
free
flopped.
willy, like
she fish flopped.
she just
into the water.
just like so and so sailed, but she's a little bit less graceful about it.
Odysseus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there were a lot of the sightings in Israel. So the town that was up against the water there, the town that basically owned that beach where the sightings happened, offered a $1 million reward to the first person that photographed it and brought it to them. Nobody claimed the reward. Nobody photographed it. Some people apparently tried, but nobody got a picture of it, so nobody got the $1 million.
Apparently, the reward is still out. In some places, like I was listening to something earlier today that was talking about this, and the rewards, a lot of these rewards are still out, and still have not been claimed, and you can like go mermaid hunting to this day.
I'm gonna go mermaid hunting.
We should totally do that.
That'd be so cool.
That would be really fun. We should definitely plan.
Wouldn't that be crazy if we not only discovered that mermaids exist, but also got $1 million? I want to do it.
What would we do with $1 million?
Oh, I can think of so many things. Actually, like half of it'll be gone for my student loans.
Wow. Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, considering taxes and everything.
That's fair.
You have a what?
That's a buzzkill.
Sorry.
Way to go be responsible on us, Kalie.
Yeah, student loans, and then maybe with the last $2,
you can
buy a soda.
buy a soda. Just gonna buy a soda.
Soda. It's a soda.
It's a soda.
A soda.
Soda.
It's a soda.
It's a soda. Hey, Kalie.
Yeah.
Say hooves.
No! No, I'm never saying that word again.
What word?
Never saying that word again. Hooves.
Yes. It all comes full circle, folks. All right.
Okay. You have a 2012 sighting.
I do. Sighting is...
Not sighting?
Well, sighting is an interesting word for it. So, in Zimbabwe... Ooh, I went way out of frame there. In 2012, February of 2012, in Zimbabwe, they were working on fixing a reservoir, and there were a lot of reports from the workers that folks were disappearing and weird stuff was happening, and they were all like, we're hightailing it out of here. We're not working on this dam anymore. You guys can figure it out for yourselves. We're done. So the guy who was kind of in charge of the planning of this thing, this is near the towns of, oh god, I'm gonna butcher this, Gokwe and Mutare. The Water Resources Minister, which is the greatest job title ever, decided that they would just hire a new group of guys. Figured, these guys are just lazy, they don't want to work. So I hired a bunch of different guys. Out-of-towners. I'm going to point that out, because the locals in Zimbabwe, in this area of Zimbabwe, do believe in mermaids. So they hired a bunch of out-of-towners, put them to work there, and these guys started reporting the same kind of stuff and decided, we're done. We're not doing
Out-of-towners
this.
that didn't necessarily believe in mermaids.
Yeah.
Okay.
So something's going on. Right. So according to this news article that I'm pulling this from, the locals decided that the only way to appease these water spirits, as they were calling them, was to brew a traditional beer and carry out some rituals.
Gotta get them drunk!
So they did it, and the stuff stopped happening. This is a real news article. There's a couple of news articles. One February 6th, 2012, and one February 12th, 2012. You can look this up. Just Google Zimbabwe mermaids. It's super cool.
Well, then, but how did they know it wasn't something like spiritual or something? That it wasn't like ghosts?
Well, they're calling them water spirits. So
I see, okay.
mermaid, water spirit. It's kind of up in the air as to what's actually doing this, or if it's some sort of hoax, if this is real. We don't know, but it's neat to speculate.
That is neat.
So that's what I had on that one. Yeah.
I have... Oh.
We got a little bit left.
Okay, so also in 2012, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen this because it's sort of popular. The Animal Planet channel.
Yes, the Animal Planet channel is
The
popular.
Animal Planet channel did a... No, I'm not saying that the
Oh,
channel...
okay. I was going to say,
What I'm
everybody
about to-
loves Steve Irwin.
What I'm about to talk about is popular. They did a documentary, or what people thought was a documentary, on mermaids. Okay.
Yes, I
Yeah.
remember this.
Yeah, you've probably seen it too. She's seen it.
I didn't see it. I just remember hearing about it.
I've actually not seen it, but
We should try to find it and watch it.
it's... Oh, yeah. So, it was presented as a documentary, and everything that they said, they would phrase as though it was fact, and they had photoshopped pictures, apparently, and
They had
different
made up
mermaid facts.
experts. Like, they had actors posing as experts.
Yep. And a lot of people thought that it was legitimate, but obviously it was not a documentary. It was something called a mockumentary, which is
Like Spinal Tap.
Right, exactly like Spinal Tap, but a mermaid version of Spinal
Yeah.
Tap.
Yeah.
So many people took it as fact, and so many people took it as an actual documentary, that Animal Planet ended up having to put out an official statement that they don't believe that mermaids are real. So,
There are actually still people debating this online.
yeah, because a lot of people haven't actually seen that Animal Planet did put out this other statement.
And a lot of
saying.
them think that Animal Planet putting out this statement was like a rushed, ooh, we gotta cover this up.
But then why would they publish the documentary in the first place? That and all their experts were documented paid actors, but you know, okay.
I mean,
it's a cover up.
people believe a lot of crazy things. And that's okay. You do you. Be
It's
your
fun-
own beautiful
it's-
butterfly.
It's fun to be a little nuts.
It is. All the best people are. My favorite aunt is crazy as a bedbug.
Are bedbugs crazy?
Yes, have you ever met a bedbug?
No. I've not sat and talked to them before.
Oh, you should.
She's just having full-on conversations with bedbugs, guys. Who's the crazy one?
Do you have anything else for us? Okay.
I do. I always do.
We're clocking it at 48 minutes right now.
Jeez.
Yeah,
Okay,
we
well-
thought this was going to be a short episode. We were wrong.
Well, we're gonna cut some stuff out
Yeah.
anyways. You guys don't get to see all of it. Okay. So a lot of people try to take videos of what they think are mermaids. There was one video that I found.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was a video that I found. I could not find the source information. I couldn't find who did the video. I couldn't find when it was done, where it was done, which does kind of take away from its legitimacy.
Mm-hmm.
The whole like background is not
Yep.
there. Okay, so in the video, and I'm not gonna show you the video or anything, but I'm just gonna explain what happens. In the video, the man is that's taking the video is kind of behind a barricade, and he's looking over into a small little beach area, which he's whispering into the camera that they shut down the beach area, that some men in yellow hazmat suits told everybody to get out of the beach area because somebody saw something.
Oh, snap.
Yeah. So he's like whispering into the camera, like not into the camera, you can't see his face or anything, but he's peering over the barricade that he's looking over, and two men with hazmat suits, what I consider hazmat suits, I don't, he just says yellow suits, but basically, you know, the full body cover thing with the shield over the face.
Yeah.
They come down onto the beach area, and one guy walks out into the water a little bit and starts pulling something, and you can see in the video it's very little, but there's definitely something there that he's pulling. And then the two men get it up onto the shore, and they get out what looks to be a body bag of some sort, and they lay it out, and they put this thing onto the body bag. Now, the guy behind the camera doesn't necessarily say that it's a mermaid, but he does allude that it's something very weird. And a lot of people take this video as fact of a mermaid because in the video you can see what looks to be the top half of a naked woman. It's very far away, so you can't see any details or any chesticles. And then the bottom half kind of does look like a mermaid fin. It's green, and it looks like there's two things hanging off of it like fins. That being said, it is so far away that it looks to me like if I didn't go into it thinking that I'm trying to see a mermaid, if I didn't think that originally, I would probably just think that it was a deceased woman
dead
with
body.
something
That's
wrapped around her legs.
like seaweed or something, maybe.
It was very thick. There was a lot of it, and I'll show you this video afterward.
Okay.
But it was very thick. There was a lot of it around her legs, and it didn't look like seaweed, but potentially it could have been something that she was wrapped in. If this video is real, if this is not a hoax and is legitimate, then it looks to me like they were taking out a deceased woman out of the water, and likely not a mermaid, but I can see where people might think it looks like a mermaid.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, downer.
A little bit.
Yeah. But I also have kind of like one little thing. I found this online as to why mermaids probably cannot exist, at least in the form that they currently exist. Or currently are thought to exist.
Thought to exist, yeah.
Okay. The human-like body, our bodies, are not meant to withstand cold water for too awful long. If you go just a couple meters under the surface, it's way too cold for us to be. So mermaids in the shape that we think that they are would freeze to death. So in order for mermaids to exist, in order to live in the water that is that cold below the surface, they would have to either be super duper hairy, like a sea otter, sea otters have more than 900,000 hairs per square inch.
Good lord.
I know. It's insane. It's
hairy
like,
little boogers.
it's kind of like goose down. Like it's just have you ever held an otter?
No.
Oh, okay. Oh, they are vicious. They're mean.
I've never even... Well, I was going to say I've never even seen an otter in real life, but that's not true because we saw them at the St. Louis Zoo.
Yeah. The wildlife rehab had some otters.
Oh.
Yeah, they were very cute but very mean. They're don't try to
I
catch.
have heard
catch
that
them.
otters are super mean. Yeah.
Yeah, they're nasty. You have to wear super thick gloves to get near them because they'll.
I like that they hold hands in the water.
They're very
It's
cute.
so cute.
They're so cute. Yeah, they're cute when you're not trying to touch them. So sea otters are able to be in the cold water because they have super thick hair. It's not super long, so that's why they don't really look furry, but it's kind of against them, and so the water can slick off of them and they can keep warm. So mermaids would either have to be very hairy like an otter or super duper fat like a manatee.
Which is what a lot of people believe mermaids are. Like mermaid sightings. A lot of people think they're actually manatees that people are seeing.
So imagine this. You have this beautiful, sexy fish hippie body, right? And then just like is the rest of the mermaid. And she's just like grotesque and humongous and like, you know, it's kind of like an ice cream cone. There's just like all this kind of like hanging off and then the little fishy body.
That's horrible.
So anyways, speaking of manatee, that is one of the things that a lot of people think that mermaids actually are. That they're actually just sightings of manatees from a distance. Some people also think that they could be dugongs. Now, I didn't know what dugongs were. So
I don't know what a dugong is.
I'm gonna show you guys a super low quality picture here of a dugong, because I'm assuming that some of you guys don't know what a dugong is. They sort of look like manatees.
Oh, it's kind of cute. In its own weird way.
They sort of look like manatees. Yeah, in a way, they're sort of cute. So a lot of people think that they're just long distance sightings of these. Some people also think that mermaids could just be sightings of dolphins, which would also explain tricks. You know, people saying that they're doing tricks because dolphins can go up in the air and kind of like flip around. They all have the same kind of like flat tail. Flat finned tail. That's and fair. Then they have flippers that could potentially be mistaken by as stubby arms.
Percentages then. Yeah. Do you think mermaids exist?
Okay, I will say this. I love mermaids. They're just so pretty and sparkly and nice, and I like
majestic.
Majestic
and regal. I
like mermaid styled and themed things. Mm-hmm. I don't think mermaids are real. I 0.5% chance.
Yeah. I'm gonna go 0.2. Just
that
because
is low.
Just because you love the mermaids.
Yeah, I do like mermaids.
I don't love them as much. Like I love them. They're great. Little Mermaid was one of my favorites growing up, but it was because I identified with the redhead. Seriously, that was why.
I think I mostly just like, what is that book? There's a children's book called Rainbow Fish, I think.
Yeah.
And it's got these super shiny scales, and so in my head I imagined that mermaids would have these super shiny holographic scales. And it makes me happy.
Holographic stuff makes us very happy.
Yeah. Also, I associate glitter with mermaids, and I'm a huge glitter fan.
I hate glitter. That night that the three of us went out to that club and you guys put glitter on me.
It looked pretty.
It took 2 days to get it all off my face.
You can't go to a pride event without any glitter. You just can't.
I hate glitter.
Should we guess what Bree would say, percentage-wise?
I don't think Bree believes in mermaids, considering she gave us the go-ahead to do this episode without her. Yeah. Because she wasn't super interested in mermaids.
No. Even though she suggested this episode. Yeah. Bree's the one that suggested to do the mermaids episode. But then we were just like...
What episodes can we do? Because we knew we weren't going to have her today. And we're like, what can we talk about that isn't something that you're like super invested in and you want to be here for it? And she was like, oh, you guys could do mermaids. I don't give a crap about mermaids. It's like, you did. Okay.
I don't know. It was still fun to talk about.
Yeah, no, I think we did all right without her.
Yeah.
Just for, Yeah.
Just tell us we did fine. Lie.
We may here and there do an episode or two without one of us. Like, we all have busy schedules. We all have demanding lives, and that's okay. Podcasting is not a full-time job for any of us yet. Sponsor us. Make it a full-time job.
That'd be really nice.
It'd be really nice.
Although I would still go to school. So
I'll do the full-time podcasting job.
and I'll stop in once in a while. Yeah, I think that's all we have for mermaids, and we would love to hear what you guys think about mermaids.
Yes.
Why
Definitely
you like
hit
them.
us up on Facebook,
Yeah.
Twitter, Instagram, all of that noise.
Right.
I don't know what any of that stuff is.
Anywhere you listen to podcasts, we'll be there.
And of course our YouTube, which you are hopefully seeing us on right now.
Subscribe. Hit that subscribe button, and also push the bell down here, but put it on the all notifications listing, or else it'll just give you some. And that's just not fair. If you're subscribed to somebody, you want to see all their stuff.
Of it. We have some good stuff.
Smash, like Sophia says.
Don't steal Sophia's lines.
We'll have her
We
on
do
later.
love Sophia Nygaard.
Oh, she's great.
She's fantastic. I actually have the holographic jacket.
She does.
I do. It's really awesome.
It's not plastic.
No, I got it on Wish. It's like a fiberglass material. Not important. You guys just go on Wish and buy it. It's only like $6.
All right. Well, I'm Kalie.
And I'm Rachelle, and we were
Paranoia Percentage.
Bye.
You can find us on Twitter at Paranoia Percent, Tumblr as Pdubs Podcast, and Facebook and Instagram as Paranoia Percentage.